So that shiny new game just came out, Silent Hill 2 2024, and you want to know if it's worth your time, right? Well, let's take a look at the game first and first impressions. Keep in mind this is not a full review, this is a quick look at the game. I played the game for about 3 hours, so I'll show some footage of the game while describing it and giving a few thoughts on it. First off, I've never played any of the Silent Hill games. This is my first time on one. Secondly, let's talk about performance real quick. I was playing on 1440p with a 3080 Ti, and settings were mixed between high, low, and medium. I had ray tracing off and I had DLSS on quality. However, I then turned it to balanced and played most of the game that way, but the last 10 or 20 minutes I actually turned that down further to performance mode, as I was in an area where my FPS was mid 40s and high 50s. Usually though, my FPS was in the 60 to 80 range. Also, my game did crash twice while playing. I'm kinda mixed on the performance. On one hand, I could have turned all settings even lower, but I was trying to make the game look somewhat decent for YouTube. And the game does look good. I wish I had a better GPU to really experience the visuals. Overall, the performance is meh, but you could improve it somewhat depending on how low you want to go with the graphics. I mentioned I never played Silent Hill before, but I have played 4 or 5 different Resident Evil games. The Silent Hill 2024 version highly reminds me of the Resident Evil games that I've played recently, and I'm all for that. So yes, I already really like this game. The game begins with your character James near the town of Silent Hill. Apparently his wife died of a disease 3 years ago, and I have no idea what happened. It's probably events from the first game, but I'm unsure. He's at Silent Hill because he's got a letter with his wife's name on it, and saying that she's waiting for him at their special place. Personally, I think that sounds sketchy because she's dead apparently, but regardless, he's there to look for her. As I played this game, I realized that the gameplay is the main focus, meaning there's not a lot of cutscenes in this game. The majority of the game is just you running around exploring, solving puzzles while killing enemies and surviving. While exploring, the 3 main items that you'll find are health drinks, syringes, and ammo. The first 2 are for regaining health, and ammo is for weapons, like a pistol that you find. I'm unsure if there are more guns later in the game. I didn't get the pistol until about an hour and 40 minutes into my 3-hour game time. The other weapon that you have to start is a wooden plank with nails in it. I have no idea what's happened to the town, but it's really run down and there's almost no one in it. There's also thick fog all over the town. I think I met 2 people briefly in my 3 hours, and then I saw a little girl at one point, but that was it. The enemies, I don't even know what to call them. They're like people stuck in bags, but they have no arms. They smash you with their head or spit up gunk at you. Later on, there's a variant to that one, and those explode on the ground with a toxic cloud. Besides that enemy, there was also one that did have arms, sorta. It's like a second set of legs where its arms should be, but the end of its legs are cut off. Those are more dangerous, and they like to hide around corners to ambush you. Oh, and there's also little bugs that will attack you, but they're not as common. There are areas that you can save your game, and that's wherever you find a glowing red square. I have no idea why it looks like that, because it looks super out of place in this game. You do have a map, but only once you grab it. There's usually a map at the beginning of each area that you go to that you can grab. The 3 areas that I played was the town in the beginning, and then 2 different apartment buildings, and all 3 areas had their own maps that I grabbed. The town is very foggy and gives you an isolated feeling, and the first apartment building was dark and spooky, and the second one was rotten and rusty. Each map will update as you explore, showing areas that are blocked off or quest areas that you need to unlock. Besides the health and ammo that you find, there's also various notes with random info. There's keys needed to unlock new areas, and then of course the main items that you'll find. Items that are needed to progress the story, like a half of a record, or several coins that need to be found and then placed in order, for example. Some items will need to be combined in your inventory, but it's not a traditional inventory with slots. It's different categories that you can click into. This game has a nice atmosphere to it. I was constantly nervous of a monster being around the corner. There was one monster I saw that was the scariest of them all that I've seen so far. It was humanoid and had a giant piece of metal on its head. My character shot it, and all it did was stand there and look at you, and then it walked away while dragging a different monster body with it. That thing is freaky. I really don't want to see that one again. Also, how dumb do you have to be to shoot directly at the metal? Just shoot it in the chest, James. I got off the game while in the second apartment building, but I really enjoy this game so far. Almost immediately when I loaded into the game, I was like, oh, okay. I love the vibe that this game has already, and I stand by that even 3 hours into the game as well. I think anyone who likes single player games will enjoy this one, but there is one potential downside, which is performance. You'll need to look at your hardware and determine if this game will run good for you or not. Hopefully it does, because this game is great, though that's my personal opinion. Whether or not this is your type of game, I'll see you on the next one.